Like, but you're just going to bring that up but ignore why the policy was there to begin with. That means there was a whole bunch of white people before there was DEI that were getting jobs that they didn't deserve.
I know, but there was, I think, the University of Michigan, one of the schools like that, had something like 200 DEI officers at a college. The most liberal place.
Yeah, that's excessive. No excuse.
Okay, and who's ever going to give up that job and go, well, this situation is better now, I guess I better fire me.
Right.
Bill Maher totally schools Stephen A. Smith when it comes to DEI policies. Let's see how this goes down.
Is it appropriate that the Trump administration is asking government employees to turn in their coworkers if they are engaged in DEI efforts? I'll start with a no. Turn in. I'm not loving, again, I said I wouldn't pre-hate. Hating.
That's snitching.
Difference between prejudice and Judas. I'm hating.
Right.
Hating.
More than inappropriate. It's scary. I mean, it's like the surveillance state. Come on. As a libertarian, you should be.
What do you want me to do? I just said I hate.
That's good.
You just want me to cut off a finger? I mean, see what the problem with the Democrats? It's never fucking enough with these people.
The complaint that I have over this whole DEI issue is that everybody thinks about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it automatically connotates in a lot of people's eyes, particularly on the right, that somebody that's in that position must have gotten there because of a level of incompetence and what have you. It's not merit-based. My attitude is similar to the Rooney Rule with the National Football League, similar with affirmative action. What the hell was the policy necessary for to begin with? Because we had a power structure in the United States of America that was unfair, that was unequitable, inequitable. They didn't give a damn, and somebody had to compel them to do the right thing conscientiously, and nobody is talking about that in regards to DEI.
Well, I think they are.
Mark Zuckerberg right there. He's in on this panel. Listen, I think at one point in time, yes, affirmative action was necessary, especially as segregation ended and stuff. Like, affirmative action, you could argue then, was probably necessary at that time. But not in 2025. Not like, I don't know for how long now, but not in modern day America. We don't need DEI and we don't need affirmative action and all this stuff. In terms of like turning in your coworkers if they're engaging in DEI, I'm sure if the policy was turning your coworkers if they're sexually harassing people, I'm sure Bill Maher would have no problem with it. These people, they would have no problem with it. So yeah, I have no problem with the DEI stuff. We need to get that stuff out of the job market.
Also, things change.
Right.
But
you're talking about the past.
But they haven't changed enough. Look at tech. Look at how many African Americans, Latino Americans are in tech, which is producing all the wealth.
But is it because they're barred? I heard the same story. You would understand this better than anybody because you're a sports genius. Baseball. I've heard there's only 7% players in baseball who are African American.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Well, this would be a problem if they were barred from baseball, as they were before 1947. There's only 7% because they want to play another sport or no sport at all or do something else. They're not barred. It's not a problem.
It's not a problem, but what they're trying to do on the right, and I've been getting on them about this, is that, again, when you're talking about DEI, anytime you bring that up, you're a DEI hire. You didn't really deserve it. You didn't really earn it. You just got it because of that policy. And I'm like, but you're just going to bring that up but ignore why the policy was there to begin with. That means there was a whole bunch of white people before there was DEI that were getting jobs that they didn't deserve.
I know, but there was, I think, the University of Michigan, one of the schools like that, had something like 200 DEI officers at a college. The most liberal place.
Yeah, that's excessive. No excuse.
Okay, and who's ever going to give up that job and go, well, this situation is better now, I guess I better fire me.
Right. But I'm just saying if you want to do away with it, do away with it. Just don't act like, don't forget what brought it about. Right. That's all I'm saying.
And it's where people look for talent. If you look at these tech companies, they go to Stanford, Harvard, Berkeley. You think they're going to the HBCUs and looking for talent there? If they're not pushed to go outside their networks, they're going to hire the same people from the same schools and replicate the same wealth gap. We've got a 10-to-1 wealth gap in America, and instead of talking about that, we're beating up on DEI.
But we had this.
I find it ironic that we have a panel where there's an Indian guy and a black guy on there, and they're complaining about how we don't care about minorities or anything, or how we don't hire them enough. I mean, Stephen A. Smith's like, well, don't forget why. Don't forget why we needed it in the first place. It's like, yeah, okay, we won't. Jeez. but we still don't need it in the modern day. Yeah, just because there's a lot of people who are working due to different reasons that don't deserve their job doesn't mean that, oh, well, therefore, it's okay to have DEI. It doesn't justify it at all. Bill Maher actually making sense this time. What do you guys think about this? Sound off in the comment section below. Smash that like button. Let's continue.
In your industry, or the way you represent, women were like, they started 2 programs, big programs, like 20 years ago to get more women in engineering positions. And I think in 20 years it went up 1%. I don't think it's because they were barred from doing it. I just think people choose to go into different avenues of...
There's the studies show that African-American young men and women are more interested in tech than even white kids, but they don't have the same pathways. We are denying reality if we think
So you're
that
saying
someone
they're being
I'm not saying
denied.
that. I'm saying if you graduate from Stanford, I taught at Stanford, you get funded before you have an idea. You literally just email a venture capitalist, you get funded. If you're at Morehouse or you're at Spelman or you're at Claflin University, you think you could just email someone at Kleiner Perkins and get your company funded? No.
I think companies that want to make money hire the best people to make it for them.
I don't disagree with you. I just think that we have to keep a watchful eye on things. So, of course, for example, with the eradication of a lot of these DEI programs, right? Let's say, for example, hypothetically, there's 20 jobs that are available, and DEI has been shoved aside. Now, when you fulfill those 20, when you fill up those 20 jobs, and all of them are white, you got a problem. Because what you're saying is, oh, they're the ones that are qualified and nobody else is. No. And that's a system that used to exist in this country that you see a lot of people clamoring to return to. Well, and we can't ignore that.
Those 28...
Mark Zuckerberg agreeing with Stephen A. Smith there. But no, if you're sitting there and you're counting about how many people of a certain race is there at the job, no, you're the one with the problem. No one's complaining like, oh, how come majority of basketball players, how come majority of them are black? We need to put more white people. There's no diversity movements in there. There's no diversity movements in majority black fields. No one's sitting there saying, oh, white people are being blocked out. No one's arguing that. But for some reason, if you, Stephen A. Smith over here, or people like him, see that it's a majority white staff or majority white workplace, they think it has to be due to racism. It has to be. There's no other explanation. No. There's no way all of these white people are just the most qualified. No. There's no way it's because, this is a majority white country. No, it has to be due to racism.
Not go to white people, they go to Asian people.
Okay.
Okay. I mean,
okay. Just not blacks.
Well, I really, this is one of the most...
Asian Americans wouldn't even be in this country if it weren't for the civil rights movement and the African American community.
But we're talking...
Well, if you're going to bring that up, bring up the fact that whether it's affirmative action or DEI, the biggest beneficiaries of both programs were white women. Let's not forget that.
But can we live in the era we're living in?
Yeah.
Because I think it's 2025. This is one of the most liberal parts of the country that you represent.
Yes.
So you're saying in one of the most liberal parts, maybe you're right. I don't know. I'm just questioning it. That there is this prejudice against...
I don't think it's formal. I don't think people there at Apple or Google are saying, oh, let's not hire black people. I think it's easy when you're building a company to just hire the people you know, the schools you know, and it takes extra effort to reach out beyond your networks. We all have that.
It's just, let's just go back to, and let's just keep it simple. Let's just hire people on if they deserve the job or not, huh? And that goes to everybody, okay? And let's just stop counting how many people of any race is at a certain job. No one's doing that. If you go into a business and it's majority black staff or anything like that, no one's sitting there and being like, hey, wait a minute. Why are there no white people here? No one does that. It only goes one way, which is why this whole thing is BS. Let's just go and hire who is best for the job. Let's just keep it simple. Let's keep this DEI stuff out of the workplace and just out of America. I think Bill Maher did a good job here. He actually made a lot of sense, and he absolutely schooled Stephen A. Smith and this Rokana, and it was good to see Mark Zuckerberg taking time out of his busy schedule to make an appearance too. But what did you guys think about this clip? Sound off in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this, and if you do enjoy content like this, I got a whole bunch more goodies for you on the screen to click away and enjoy.